What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Another year, another world tour. Played this year about 1,500 days in my world, exactly 1,500 days because it is day 5,000 and last year was the day 3,500 world tour. So I didn't build a whole lot. Like last year, I feel like I built a ton of stuff in this world. This year was more of just refining everything, finishing all of my projects, making sure that everything is all set around here. Because as you know from one of my previous videos, I'm going to be working on a huge Oasis City, so I kind of want my spawn to be kind of complete and everything so I can move on and work on that. So this year I just kind of made sure everything was going to be finished up for that. So one thing I do want to note before we begin with this world tour, this is a backup of my world, so this isn't the actual world I play on, it's just an exact copy. So that way I can go into spectator mode and kind of fly around so I could show you guys stuff better, all like redstone and stuff like that. So I just want to make that clear. I'm not cheating in my world or anything. I don't cheat at all. I just want to make that clear. So let's just, I start every day in here. So let's just start the world tour in here. So we got dragon egg on here, we got some mob heads. We have a bed, of course, that I sleep in, and what you heard in the beginning was a little lullaby tune that I have hooked up to an observer, and then it plays some note blocks down here, just like kind of a fun little thing I wanted to do. I think if I click this button, yeah, it plays it. So this is just what happens down here when I go to bed, and it detects it and plays this. So let's get out of here. So if we head out, we're going to go over and start at my little storage area because that is pretty much the second most common place I'm always at. So here we have the storage area. This is where I store kind of just like random blocks. It's not automated or anything. We'll get to that. I do have an automated one if you watched the previous world tours. So I just kind of keep random blocks in here, just kind of stuff I can grab, just a bit of everything kind of just bundled together. We've got automatic carrot dispensing things for food. It's hooked up to like hoppers and you just come here and it dispenses them. We've got ones for rockets. So if I just need some rockets or carrots, I just come in here and I just sit on the pressure plate and it gives me a bunch. I also have this chest right here. So if I grab some stone, let's say I run out of room, which I am running out of room for stone, I just put it in here and then it just collects it, and it's like automated thing. So when this fills up, it'll be loaded into a minecart hopper, and this rail actually goes to the massive storage system I have, which we'll get to in a second. But it's just a really convenient way for me to save a trip and not have to run back and forth. I can just load it in here while I'm dumping all my blocks or whatever. Over here, let's just start with this, I guess. We have what is basically just kind of a bone meal farm. Right now normally it's just flowers and stuff, but instead I replaced the dirt for these two nether blocks just so I can grab some of these types of fungus plants. But usually it's flowers, and these are the types of flowers we can get in this biome. So just a nice easy way to get some dyes and stuff like that. And then if we have anything we don't want, we just put it in here and it converts it into bone meal, just like that. So kind of a convenient way to get some passive bone meal. Right over here we have a pumpkin and melon farm. So it's just passively, farming the melon. Once this observer is updated, it harvests all the melon and all the pumpkins. Right here we have what is basically, the foxes, they collect the berries and then it gets picked up. So it's just a lot of berries get collected here. And I pretty much just convert all this into bone meal because I've already run out of storage for it. And berries really are not an item that you use. It's just maybe a decoration block, but I want to have almost every block in this game farmable in some way. So this is just something I thought of putting in here. Over here we have a potion brewing area. This is probably one of my most, I wouldn't say complicated, but just annoying redstone projects to do, just because I had to compact all of this redstone into a really tight area, and it was just a headache trying to figure out which wire goes where, and I have to like time it all and stuff like that. So pretty much how it works is, let's say we want water breathing, so we click this button, and I don't know if you hear it, but there's dispensers that dispense the ingredients, and it's all timed to go in the correct order. And then we have all the ingredients go into here. We also have water bottles that automatically fill this up and blaze powder that fill this up. So you can just put more in here and it just automatically every time fills it. So we'll come back to this. There's also, we could also increase the duration. So say we want night vision for 8 minutes instead of 3. We just put that in there and it should show up. So once this ingredient's done cooking, it will put that in. So we'll come back to it in a second, check on it. Let's go over here. This is literally, this has no like functional purpose. It is just a massive flex room. I have a pile of little diamonds here. This is just all the diamonds I have in my world. And there's also some diamonds in the ceiling and the floor. The door that is just a door within a piston door. I thought that'd be funny to do. And we also have some like really OP god armor you can't get anymore. There was a short period of time, I think it was 1.14 or something. I think it was 1.14. They made it so all the protections could be combined together. And then by the time 1.15 came out or something, they got rid of it all. So this armor can't be made anymore. And I don't trust myself to wear it because I will die and lose it. So I just have it in here as just kind of really cool armor. Plus you can't, I don't think you can put the new Swift Sneak enchants or the Soul Speed because it's going to be too expensive. So I'd rather honestly have weaker armor and still be able to like shift around faster and have Soul Speed. Just because I have beacons and stuff, so I don't really care about dying too much. So if we come back over here, let's check up on the potion brewing. Yeah, so we got water breathing potions. And we can just drink them, I guess. Doesn't really matter. And I just store them all in here. So I just have a constant stockpile of them. And every once in a while, it's useful to have, just be able to instantly brew them if I'm doing some sort of project. But yeah. So if we come out this way, this is kind of just like a nice main little area. I have a bunch of like paths to random areas. This is kind of the central area of my base under here, the cave base. We got a nice little pond. Down here is a auto smelting array thing. So if we wanted to, we're running out of coal or fuel, we dump some in here. If we want to cook something like raw beef, we put it in there. And if this minecart isn't already running around, we click this button. But usually it is just going around constantly, so eventually it'll load up and then it'll start dispensing it into these furnaces and it'll cook everything. It's all automatic, so I can just put stuff, dump stuff into this chest, walk away, and it'll do the rest for me. And then eventually we should see it pop up into this chest after a few seconds. And there we go, it's starting to funnel in, so cook steak, and after a few minutes it will finish up, and it's just, this is probably one of the most convenient things I have in my base. It's just so convenient to not have to manually put everything into the furnaces. Just kind of makes my life a bit easier. So if you come back over here, I could show you guys over here this. So this is one of the, probably one of the first like redstone things I did in my world. Basically it's a little secret enchanting room. You just click this redstone and then it opens up a door and you got a nice little enchanting room. I just have a bunch of books stored in here. I don't really use this area too much anymore. Usually when I'm doing enchanting, I have a few farms that I could use for XP and I have an enchanting table there. But it's a nice little cute little thing I built a while ago. And also I have this automatic XP dispenser thing. It shoots out some XP if I need to top off and repair something like my elytra or pick. I get the bottles from trading with villagers and I just kind of put them in here. Yeah, it's a nice little way. It's not a lot of XP. It's much more efficient to, it gives you more XP trading with the villagers to get these bottles, but I just want to do something kind of cool like that. We got a little to-do list thing that has nothing in it because I kind of did everything I needed to. And also I don't really use this. I have kind of just like actual document that I write stuff on. But I might do something with this soon. Over here we have an AFK fishing farm. Once again, this was one of the first things I built in this world. It unfortunately got broken in an update. They made it so that you had to have a larger pool of water to actually get like books and stuff. So the only thing this would work on is getting regular fish and I think some other little things, but I guess it does kind of work out. If I do need fish, I will still use this, but I haven't used it in a while. Right over here we have what is basically, it converts powdered concrete into normal concrete. So if you just do this and then hold, I use a macro usually that auto places blocks, and then I just kind of sit here and break it, the water turns it into the powdered concrete, and then the hopper collects it and it gets all put into here. It's just really convenient to have, just because it's basically just a little farm that took me like 5 minutes to make, and it just, you know, instantly turns it into powder concrete into normal concrete. If you guys remember, I had a map right here on this wall. I moved it somewhere else. We'll get to that in a second, so there's nothing here right now. We'll also get to this in a second. I will turn this on and we will be using that in a minute. We got a cocoa farm, some brown, just if I need brown powder or brown dye. I don't think there's any other uses for cocoa beans. Maybe there's like something else, but I don't really use this too much. Right over here we have my villager. We got some villager breeding down here. If I need some villagers, I just put them in a minecart and send them up. We also have these guys for trading, so it's a trading hall. This entire side is just for golden apples, so that's my main food supply, and it's a lot cheaper to just trade with them rather than using gold to get golden carrots. And then over here we have just some like really good book enchants, stuff like that. We have just like getting some diamond tools and armor. We have quartz. This is really nice, being able to get quartz with emeralds, because quartz is actually really hard to get even in late game. And then we just got, you know, some random potions and stuff like that. In my cave base, this is probably one of my favorite builds. I think I said that last time also. I just love how it turned out. I will be using those new bookshelves that are coming in 1.20 as a way to like vary the books, because now you don't have to use the back of, I think, looms these are, to make empty bookshelves. So that's going to be really nice. If we go up this way, it always looks like there's, I always trick myself. I always think there's something behind this painting, but there isn't. I just put some paintings around my world. There's this long tunnel, and if we take a right over here, this is actually my first spider farm right here. We got some tinted glass I put recently, and it doesn't really work that efficiently anymore. I could make this better if I wanted to, but like, yeah, there's stuff that spawns on top of there. I didn't really, this was one of the first few things I built. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. There's a reason why I don't really work on this anymore, because if we come down here and then go down this tunnel with soul speed on the ground, we actually have a much better spider spawner, and it has actually one spider spawner. And if I go and I can actually do this, we have two right here, so it's twice as efficient. They get funneled down here, go up a stream, and then they go into the killing chamber here, and then I just kind of sit here and just kind of, yeah, grind and kill them, and all the drops go into this chest. It's pretty efficient. You don't really need, like, I can get string from bartering, so the only thing I need this farm for is spider eyes, which is used for a couple potions and maybe like a couple, like one or two other things, but just a great way to get spider eyes. So now let's go back through this tunnel and check out some other stuff I've built. We'll go over this way first. We have this little elevator thing, staircase, and if you just turn this, it automatically pushes them out in a little tune thing. It's really nice. I usually just leave it extended. Right over here we have a slime farm. There's just different levels, and the slimes get attracted to the iron golem. Come down here, and all the slime drops get collected down here. It's a great way to get slime. I don't usually use too much of it, so I have a ton of slime blocks. We also have a dripstone farm right here, and it's just a passive way to get dripstone. I have not collected this once, and I've had this farm probably for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point. So this is a very, very slow farm. That was actually a really rare occurrence. I can't believe I got that on camera. This actually like harvesting the dripstone, just because it takes forever for it to grow. But I don't really, there's really no purpose for dripstone, so I don't really bother making a more efficient one. Like, I definitely could, but I just don't see the reason to. So if we go back out up here, we got some, you know, nice vegetation, stuff like that. This is my turtle farm that I really don't have a purpose for. You just get some scoots. We've got, this is a basalt farm, so it's using the blocks that make basalt, and you just kind of sit here, and it gets all collected with the hopper. Really simple, just a way to get some basalt if I ever need it, instead of going to the nether. If we go down here, we have what is a moss farm. So this is 100% automatic by itself. I don't have to put any bone meal into this. What's happening is basically, so Most of the drops and stuff that this farm produces go into these 4 hoppers, and this 1 hopper is the actual revenue I get. So this is all of the stuff I've gotten from this farm. But for the other 4 hoppers it collects, it goes through and goes up, and then it gets converted into bone meal, and it gets put into this, and it automatically dispenses it, and yeah, it grows the stone, which is being made with just a automatic stone farm thing with lava and water. A lot of moving parts, but it's just a really nice way to have moss without having to spend any bone meal on it. Basically just free moss. You can turn it off if you really want to, but I am still collecting. I think there's a bit more I can collect. And yeah, this is also another way to get into the interior of it. If there's ever a slight chance of it malfunctioning and it doesn't have enough bone meal, or if it doesn't have enough to make a piece of bone meal with the composter, I have a backup solution, which is a cactus farm right here. So every once in a while a cactus will be farmed, and it'll go in and it will go through the same system and turn it into bone meal. So if it does eventually, every once in a while it will get stuck. So that's just as a precaution to make sure this thing's constantly running. So that's pretty much all the farms I have in this end of the cave base. I think if we go this way next, maybe down here. So this does look like decoration, but it does have a functional purpose. It's just a glowberry farm. You just click this and you get a bunch of glowberries using bone meal. And yeah, it's a nice little simple decoration slash farm. Going down this way, I just got some, cute foxes I don't really know what to do with. This is my record room. I have every record in the game. The new one, which you have to go to the Warden Den area, whatever it's called. You can pop one of these in, and I got some parrots here that do little dance while I'm listening to music. And I think I just have a bunch of records here also that I'm not really using. Down here I have probably the 2 most useless farms. It's just Weeping Vine and Twisting Vine, so it's just the 2 nether vines, and it just kind of grows up, grows down. The observers see it, and then the pistons push it out, and yeah, it's just a real simple farm. Through this portal, this is a nice kind of cool amethyst portal. We do have a bunch of just excess storage for blocks that I can't really do anything with. If I come up here, there's just this nice little area. We have the nether wart farm. So you have to manually place all this down, but once it's all grown, you just sit on this pressure plate and the water shoots out and it just funnels everything into a single hopper down there. And once everything's in there, it takes a second, you step off and the water goes away, and then it gets collected all up in here, as you can see, and you just go and plant everything once you're done. If we go over this way, we have a little sugarcane farm. I do have like a main sugarcane farm that I use that's much more efficient, but it is away from loaded chunks. Like if I'm in this area of my world, the sugarcane farm I have over, I think that way or wherever it is, won't be loaded in. So this is kind of a way to get passive sugarcane, just a little bit extra. I just needed something to fill up this hallway, so I can put something else here if I want to. We got a little water elevator thing right here if I need to get some mobs up to the surface. These are the 4 tall plant items here, so it's just kind of passively I'm just getting some plants here. And how it works is it's a melon farm, so it just basically crushes the melons, puts it into the hoppers, and then it goes into here. So once the composter has been filled up fully, it dispenses out the bone meal from it, and yeah. So just another farm that I don't need any bone meal for, and just passively getting me some items. If we go over here, this is just a entrance to the surface. This was actually the first entrance to my cave base before I had the main tunnel that I just used my elytra to get in and out with. And while it's nighttime, I'm actually going to show off this contraption right here. So basically what this is it's a like instant hub transportation thing. So if I take a bed right here, and let's say I fly out away from spawn. So I'd say we're far enough. We're away from spawn now. We're away from the spawn chunks in the middle of a jungle. So I put the bed down right here. Let's sleep in it, and I'll show you in a second. And it instantly teleports you back. So basically how this works is we got the on-off switch. When it's on, it works, but when it's off, it doesn't. So it dispenses beds and ender pearls at the end. It basically detects the time and day changing. So if it's slowly changing time, like you're not sleeping or anything, it doesn't activate. It's only when it changes multiple times. So if it makes like a big skip in the day, like a jump in time, then it activates, and it sets off these observers because it just basically detects just the strength of the day, and if it instantly goes back or forward or something, then that's only when it activates this whole contraption. I could go into further detail and properly explain it if you guys wanted me to in like a separate tutorial or something like that, but I'm just trying to give a general gist of what's going on. Also, the reason why it doesn't activate when I sleep in this bed is because I have it automatically disabled. So it detects when I'm sleeping in this bed and it shuts this off temporarily. So that way when I sleep in this bed, I don't just get teleported right here, because that would be kind of pointless. And I believe that's everything in the top half of my cave base. We can go down deeper now, go down this way. First thing we have down here is a chicken farm, great for feathers. I don't really eat the chicken or use the chicken for anything, so it's just feathers basically. Over here we have just kind of the old strip mine that I don't really use anymore. This was a strip mine I had when I first made this world. I don't use it anymore because kind of got in the way with some redstone stuff I have. And also, you know, now diamonds are located at Deepslate. There's like a bunch of stuff located down in the Deepslate area, so I had to make a new strip mine for that. Right over here we have a kelp farm. This does use bone meal, so I just turn it on and it just, you know, bone meals the kelp and crushes it and collects it. So just a kind of nice way to get kelp. Over here we have a wool farm. It just detects when the wool eats the grass and then shears the wool off the sheep. I get a ton of wool from this, so it's really nice. I have to like figure out what I'm going to do with all the wool because I'm running out of storage for it. I could also trade with it down here for emeralds, but it's only there's only a few types of colors that you can trade with villagers, so that's a bit annoying. And then just some extra storage. We come down here, we have a bee farm. In the last world tour I did, there was a bug that made all of the bees just disappear. So I had to refill all of these beehives, but it's working now. So get a bunch of honeycomb and honey bottles. You just go over here and just basically detects when it's full. Just kind of a nice, easy redstone system. And yeah, it only works during the night or day. I think it's, yeah, day. Yeah, so it only works during the day. At night they're sleeping, so it's only running 50% of the time, but it's still really good. We got a wheat farm. Well, this is used for any type, you know, like carrots, wheat, potatoes, stuff like that. You just basically grab the seeds or whatever, and you turn it on. It runs, and then you just pull down your macro, and it just instantly grows and then destroys it. So it's a great way to just get some wheat if I need it or something like that. Now this is probably one of the biggest extensions I've made to my cave base since last world tour. I had something else here where it was a video where I collected every block in the game. I took that down unfortunately because I needed some area to connect this. This is actually the deep slate, the deep biome, the deeper caves in 1.18. So I found a big cave area that was underneath my base, and I made a tunnel to it. And this is actually, I have like an amethyst cave over here, so I made a bunch of houses with amethyst on them, amethyst trees and stuff like that. A lot of purple and snow. It's a really cool aesthetic. Most of these houses, there's a bunch that don't have any farms in them yet, but a bunch of them have just like are dedicated to a certain type of farm. So this is a vine farm. I just, you know, wait for the vines to grow and I manually harvest it every once in a while. I don't use vines too much, so it's fine. We got hanging root and glow lichen. So you just kind of sit here, and you need a shear for this, for both of these actually. Just sit here and it automatically grows it. Yep, it's a great way to get glow lichen. A bunch of these farms and these houses I don't really need a lot of the items, but I'm just trying to get every, you know, farmable item in the game. Same thing, it also works for the hanging roots. I'll show you guys again. The shears, you just sit here. And this one's actually a lot quicker. But yeah, it's just the same idea. You just kind of hold down, click, and it farms it. Yeah. What else is there? There's, let's see, I think there's something else over here in this house. If we go over this way, I think this is, yep, this is the snow farm. So if we take the shovel, it's got fortune on it, not silk touch. It doesn't matter. It's just as long. Well, there's supposed to be a snowman here as long as you don't kill him by accident. But yeah, it's just a nice little snowball farm. You can turn the snow into the snowballs into snow blocks. I think that's all of the houses that have farms in them. There's a bunch of like other farms I could put in these houses if I can think of things. So let's go over to the other big farm I have down here, which is a cobblestone farm. So a big problem I had in my world was that I needed cobblestone for like dispensers and droppers and pistons and stuff like that. And because I have silk touch on my pick, I really don't get any cobblestone when I'm giga drilling stuff. So I needed a dedicated cobble farm. Basically how this works is you put TNT, you load up TNT in here and you turn it on. And then it should take a minute, but eventually all of the items will go up. As you can see here, it's all going up into this, and it should start dispensing TNT in a second. Yep, there we go. So this is the TNT, and it blows up the cobblestone. And then we got cobblestone generators here that replenish the missing cobblestone, and it just kind of runs automatically until it runs out of TNT. You got, you know, obsidian and just like blocks that won't break right on the floor, and enough space so it doesn't blow anything up. And then it gets collected by all of the hoppers down here and put into the storage. You get a lot of cobble from this with like, I think I've used maybe like 3 to 5 stacks of TNT, and I got a lot of cobble that I already put a lot of it away. So it's really efficient. Over here we have a strip mine. This is my new strip mine for the Deepslate area. We got some powdered snow to break my fall under the carpet. And it's a really like over-engineered strip mine. It's pretty nice design. I don't think I've even used it yet. This is like the only tunnel I have. You just, you know, you strip mine, and then once you come back, say you have a full inventory, you put the Deepslate into the barrel, and it puts it into the hopper system over here, and just brings it into the the collection system. Just very over-engineered. I just kind of wanted to do something like this as just a official strip mine, even though I really don't strip mine anymore. We'll go over to one of the last farms I have in this cave amethyst area, which is the Amethyst Farm. This was probably one of the most annoying farms I had to make, just because there's a lot of pistons that you have to have, and like, you know, make sure all of the amethyst or most of the amethyst can be farmed. And I used a system where allays are basically going around collecting the drops, but I could actually probably set off this farm if I just take the redstone dust. It should be in one of these areas. So it's right here. And if I put it right here, it'll go through, and then it sets off all the pistons. You can see there's a bunch of drops, and the allays just go around gathering all of the items. Kind of cute. And yeah, so it just basically makes it so that you can just have the items drop wherever. They don't really have to have hoppers to be collected, so it saves a lot of space on the redstone. And then it gets dispensed up here through this water elevator and gets put into the collection system. It's a very slow farm. I wish they would improve the way you get amethyst, just because it's really difficult to get. And so I believe that's the last area I have to show off in the cave base. This also goes up to the surface. Speaking of the surface, I think we're going to go up to the main like spawn area, because I think that was the last thing I had to show down here. So now that we're pretty much done with the cave base, I think we can actually fly up to the above ground area now. Got some villager things here, I guess, for some reason. Recently, the last like year and a half, I have really expanded and built a ton of stuff on the above ground spawn area, just because a lot of my farms and stuff were underground, and there's just some farms that you kind of want to build above ground, and also some things I could build underground, but I just wanted to have more stuff around my world. Let's start with probably the most important farm in my world, above here at spawn at least, which is my iron golem farm. If you remember last year, it was it looked a bit different. I completely I can't even say I gutted and remodeled it. There is every single block here is basically brand new. I destroyed the entire old one and just put in a new one. So I just get iron here. If I go into spectator mode, there are zombies that scare the villagers, and then iron golems spawn on top. I had to make sure this was all spawn proof so that none were spawning on the roof or anything. So the only area they could spawn is here, and then they go down and into the lava, and then the iron gets collected, goes down here, and gets put into here, which is a sorting system, and any roses get turned into bone meal. So it's just another way to get passive bone meal, because roses really aren't that useful, and I already can get red dye pretty easily. We also have, you know, just iron blocks here. Got a ton of iron blocks. This was the build I was putting off the most this year. This was probably built in the last like month or so. It hurt a lot to destroy that old iron farm design I had, just because I had it for a really long time, but I really needed to update this and make it actually look like an iron, like a factory type thing. I really like how it came out. We can go over here. We have Crimson and Warped Tree Farm, whatever. I think that's what they're called. But basically how it works is there's dispensers that grow the fungi things automatically. You just kind of have to clear them out until you get a few. And once you have enough, we'll just, you know, do that. That's not a whole lot. I'd usually use more, but grab some bone meal. We use bone meal on them like this. Let's see. I think it destroyed the other one, but we'll just do this. Actually, it kind of grew a small one here. Let me try this side. So yeah, you get, after you have a few, now you collect the leaves or whatever, the wart blocks with your hoe, and then you destroy the wood. And yeah, it's basically just a simple farm. It's very manual, but it's the most efficient way I guess I could think of quickly to get these trees. Let's go over here, which we'll start with this. So last world tour, some of you were saying I missed this area, which I did forget about, but there wasn't really anything down here. This was the original entrance. I was originally, when I started this world, this was probably the first thing I built, and I wanted to have an underground cave area, but instead of actually building in the caves, I wanted to dig out all of the caves manually. And this was the area I got to, and I just kind of realized I didn't want to do that. There was a sugarcane farm in here at one point, and then there was like a halfway point where I gutted it, but there's nothing in here. But finally I put it, it's a map room. I took the map that I had in my cave, and I put it down here and expanded it. So it's really cool just to have a huge map of my world. And then we also have the Oasis City progress, you know, maps. So this is like what it looks like with the outline. Then eventually, once I have all the roads done, you know, and stuff like that, we'll go over to that area again. Nothing's really changed, but I will show you guys it once more. Then we got my first set of iron armor. I just wanted to have this displayed somewhere. I feel like this is kind of just like, you know, a room that shows like the history of this world a bit. I might put some other stuff. It's just some random Halloween zombies that I had in the iron farm that I just put in here for now. These only spawn once a year during the Halloween, so they have the jack-o'-lanterns on their head. They're kind of rare, so I didn't want to kill them. Let's just head out of here. Over here we have the entrance and the collection area to my creeper gunpowder farm. It used to run a lot smoother when just like I was like out and about, just because all the caves used to be lit up. But ever since the deep dark and all of those new caves got generated, there's a bunch of stuff I have to light up. So, but it still works perfectly fine when I'm AFKing up here. So, you know, every once in a while I'll AFK for a few hours. I don't have to too often, but I just sit up here and then it loads in all of the creepers. There we go. Yeah, there's cats and stuff that scare the creepers away, and then they get funneled like that down into the campfires, and then they die off. Yeah, I need a lot of gunpowder in my world because I really go through these rockets, especially because they're flight duration 3, so probably one of the most important farms in my world. Another important farm I have in my world is the sugarcane farm. So this is my actual legit sugarcane farm, just a bunch of sugarcane. You got this flying machine and apparently an enderman, because endermen love to just kind of be in my world and place blocks in the most inconvenient places. So if we turn this on, It's on a hopper clock, so eventually it'll start up. It could take a minute or two. So while we're waiting for that to start up, this is where all of the collection, all of the drops get collected. And it's just a simple elevator, and then it gets put into the chests, and nothing too fancy. If we go down this way, I'll show you how it works. This is one of the few things I did need a tutorial on how to build in my world, just because I'm not good with flying machines and piston, observer, sticky piston, stuff like that. But it just gets activated, turned on, and it starts pushing itself down here. And once it reaches this end, it gets detected by this observer and just goes back. So the only problem with this farm I have is I can't leave it running when I leave the chunks, or else if it's in like motion while I leave, it breaks down. So that is annoying. And there we go, it's starting up now. This Enderman are gonna get pushed around, but yeah, it just mows all of the sugarcane down, and it takes a while, but there is a couple, I think it's just one actually. There's a hopper thing down here that collects them all. I might have to update this soon because I feel like some of them do despawn. It's not being collected in time, but I might do something different here. But yeah, I really like this design. This is really nice. Let me get back out. Yeah, I just wanted to make like a wheat crop field. It's another way to get wheat in my world if I really want to, but it looks really cool from afar. Might as well explore this world at night. It looks really nice at night. If we go over here, this is my starter base. This was the base I started off with that I just kind of built temporarily as a, just kind of get stuff started. It's pretty much been stripped. Like I had an enchantment area here. I took all that. I've pretty much taken all the loot. Early game fishing farm back when you could use an AFK fish farm, like I said before. There's nothing too special here. Just a bunch of beginner, basic like starter farm stuff. You know, there's a strip mine down there. I was gonna plan on renovating this at least. I don't know if it would have any functional purpose, but it does look kind of depressing, kind of looted, and just kind of, it is an ugly build, I will say that. I was going to maybe try and make it a bit nicer, but we got a nice village here, a real beefed up village. There's a ton of villagers. There's, I think, a maximum capacity of at least 100. It's like 100 and something, I forget the exact number. But every house pretty much has a ton of beds in them, and there's a bunch of iron golems protecting them. So I just use this as an area if I need more villager trades for random things. I come here. There's also a crop farm that harvests a bunch of crops like bread. I guess this is wheat, so sometimes I get bread and bone meal in it. Beetroot. And then these are really efficient, which are carrot and potato. Basically just a simple farm. You fill up the villagers' inventory with crops so that when they harvest all of the crops, they can't pick up any of it, and it gets put down on the ground, and then the hopper comes and collects it all. And yeah, I mean, carrots and potatoes, like, you're never really going to use them in like the end game, but it's just nice to have a farm for them if you need it for something. Originally I had like this like kind of like stone wall, like cobblestone, like kind of temporary wall. I finally put something like permanent down, which is really nice. Kind of gives it kind of like a castle wall vibe. And we got some rails here. So believe it or not, mobs actually, this is like foolproof against mobs, and the villagers can't get out because they actually can't cross rails for some reason, I guess. So yeah, this acts as pretty much like a gate that only I can get through. We have over here, we got a tree farm, you know, all the basic tree types. It's just a manual farm. I got a haste 2 beacon, speed, I guess, just trying to make it as efficient as possible. There's hoppers literally under every single moss carpet here. So they get collected. So if I throw some here, it gets collected, and then it gets put all the way down here into here. So you can see it's starting to fill up. Yeah, I could make an auto tree farm if I wanted to for like birch and wood. It's just a very complicated, like tree farms are really complicated, and there's really no great way to get wood efficiently. So I just kind of built this as like a kind of just like an official way I get wood, but I do kind of just go out and mine and get trees manually, so I don't use this a whole lot. We also have a tree farm for the mangrove trees, which are the worst trees to mine and like harvest because it's just so like they grow so weird and just like everywhere So I really just don't, I just kind of ignore this. I built this and I don't even use it. And also if I want the sapling, I have to clear this all out because it's overgrown. But if I want to, I think it's called the mangrove propagule, you just like auto bone meals it and then destroys it. So if I ever want some of those, I can. Let's go over this way. So this is the entrance to the Amethyst Deepslate cave area. We could fall down here and get thrown into a little pond. We've got some horse stables. I moved a bunch of the horses over to a different area. We'll go over there in a minute. We got a cool bridge that originally it was all this palette right here, this block palette, but I wanted it to look like it was being infected by the end blocks and stuff like that, the purple whatever chorus. So I kind of did this cool transition. We got a chorus fruit farm over here. You know, you just take a bow and you shoot down the flowers so you can have enough to replant, because if you break these down, the flowers don't actually get harvested. And once you've broken enough flowers, you click this button, the water gets dispensed and goes down and harvests all of it, and then it gets all put into the hoppers down here. It's a really satisfying farm, just hearing all of the blocks break and all of the items get collected. There used to be a mountain right here, believe it or not, if you remember from last World Tour, but it kind of was in the way and there wasn't really much I could do with it, so I decided to just tear it down. Eventually I'm going to build something here. They're coming out with bamboo blocks and stuff like that, so that's probably going to be the main wood type I use. So I'll probably make a really efficient bamboo farm in the future and put it here. That's my current plan. Here we have the area where I planted all of the trees for my first 1,000 subscribers. Thank you all again for subscribing. That was really awesome. We got all these trees planted when I launched my channel, and that was probably over 2 years at this point, I feel like. Yeah, there's, I think 1,000 and something trees. There's a bit more than 1,000. There's a few extra. But yeah, everyone who's subscribed, their name was on these trees. It's just a field. And there's also some, I ended up with some extra room towards the end, so I might do something in the future. If we head over this way, we've got just, I wanted to make like a flat area where I could test stuff, I guess, if I wanted to. But it was just an excuse because I really like this like caution hazard design with the concrete, and I just wanted to use it. Here we have the horse track, stables, and like stands and stuff like that. This is where, you know, I could have all my horses here. I recently did this. If I grab one of my fast horses, I think, yeah, 21. I have numbers on them so I know how fast they are, because I'll show you in a second. So what I did is I actually created a timer so you could test how fast the horses are. So this area actually has a functional purpose now. So you get started and you go, the timer turns on, and however long it takes to get down there, you keep a straight line and the timer stops. And so yeah, 20. So I think I said this was a 21, so it kind of varies a little bit. It's 2021. I think when I timed it, it was a 21. So that's basically the speed. The lower the number, the better. And then when you're done, you just put the items back in here. Right over here, we have a bamboo farm and just kind of a panda pen area. I have a bunch of pandas here that I don't really use anything for, but I just wanted to have some pandas. And the walls double as keep saying sugarcane, bamboo farm, and all the drops get collected down here. There's two problems with this farm. I kind of wish I waited. I kind of wish I didn't build this, but I like it. I do like the design, so I won't take it down or anything. There's two problems. One, it's too far away from my main area, so it's never being loaded in, so it won't really run unless I'm over here. And also, it's just not that efficient. Especially with the new bamboo blocks, I'm going to need to make a new bamboo farm so I can get a ton of them. Like I said, I'm probably going to make a new one over there. But I really like this, so I guess I'll just use this as a panda holding area, I guess, or something. Let's head over back here. We've got a rabbit farm, just because I wanted to get the rabbit. There's like nothing you could use these rabbit hides for. I think, let's see. Yeah, the rabbit hide. There's the bundles, which possibly are going to be using the rabbit hide is the crafting recipe, but we'll see. Eventually, hopefully those get added, but I don't think I'll even really use them that much in my world because I have shulker boxes. Here we have a cacti farm. I built like a statue of a cactus right here, and just kind of over time collects cactus. And yeah, I built this probably half a year ago at this point, and this is pretty much how much it's collected. It's not super fast, but I have a bunch of ways of getting green dye, so it's fine. Let's go back over here. You can see I drop frames when I go over here. We'll do that last. Show that last. Here we got a like nice little pond that, believe it or not, wasn't even here. This water wasn't here when I started the world. It was just kind of a divot in the grass, and I put water down, and I just kind of evolved this area. Have some like custom trees that were a pain to build. I hate doing terraforming and building trees and stuff like that. We've got a sea pickle farm down here, so if we turn this on, it does that, and just bone meals it, and then shuffles it around and collects it all. We got some axolotls down here. We have the conduit, so we could, you know, be down here forever, not drown. If you remember last year, this actually was a really small mountain that just looked irregular. It was like super flat and then a huge mountain. So I actually terraformed this entire mountain, made it a lot bigger, kind of flow better. I think I like how it turned out. Could actually show you guys it's all hollow on the inside. So if I go and show you, yeah. So this was the original mountain. It kind of just spiked up and it just didn't look very organic. So I just wanted to make it a lot smoother and nicer. We got a Rubik's Cube over here. So this doesn't have any functional purpose. I just wanted to build a Rubik's Cube in my world that was like scrambled and like being turned. This is an actual scramble that you can actually do on a Rubik's Cube. So it's a real Rubik's Cube, like actually like all the faces are correct. If you guys have any ideas of what I can put in here, I have like no idea what I could use this for, but I'm open to suggestions if you have anything. But I think if we've gone over everything pretty much in the spawn area, let's end it off showing off the pretty much this has become a lag machine. I'm getting 30 frames. It'll probably drop down even further. But this is my auto collection system. I added a new row this year because I ran out of air. I needed a bunch of new blocks to be collected. There's a bunch of new blocks like the mud and the bricks. I added more wood types and stuff like that to be stored. The redstone really lags my world, so I either gonna have to do something about that, or more than likely, because this world is getting laggier every year, I'm probably gonna have to upgrade my PC or do something, because the lag, I'm getting 60 frames usually when I'm at best at spawn. You got a third level here, and I also have to figure out what I'm gonna put up here, because there's not enough room for another level of like the automatic storage, because the redstone is pretty bulky. So you can see down here, it kind of takes up a bit of space. I could show it in action, and let's say yeah, so I have gravel in my inventory. I put it in here, and it starts to get dispensed out. It goes into the system like that, and then we should see in a second it gets filled up. Yep, right there, it's starting to fill in. So yeah, it's really nice just to be able to put stuff in these chests, and it gets all sorted out. And also, like I mentioned before, there was there's the minecart that's going down. Basically comes back and forth from my spawn base, so whenever I put items in that chest at my spawn storage cave area, they go on this minecart and then they come here. So this is where it gets unloaded. I think that's pretty much everything at spawn. So I think it's about time now we head to the Nether. We go through this portal and we pop out in the Nether hub. So this is basically the center of the Nether. I built it above bedrock just so it was easier to make these paths around. I didn't have to terraform through the Nether, and it's a lot safer. Basically, I just broke through bedrock, and then yeah, I just have portals set up here. So I think we're gonna start off with basically what has been the biggest and most annoying project for me in the Nether, which is the Wither farm. I've shown off I think 2 wither farms in the past years, so I just want to give a history of all my wither farms. So let's go to the first one, which is over this way, and we're right here. We go down through the bedrock. This is the first wither farm I did. It's not even complete either. I had to spawn proof not only the Nether fortress, but also just all of these blocks, so that way pigmen and other mobs couldn't spawn. And even when I did all of this, there were still areas where they were spawning. You know, it's just so much more difficult for me to spawn proof everything. This was the first one I built, and maybe if we're lucky we can get 1 or 2 to spawn, but I just felt like this wasn't going to be very efficient, and the better alternative was for me to build this in a soul sand biome where the only mobs that can spawn are ghasts and skeletons, which are really infrequent. So it's pretty much mob proofed already, and it was going to be a lot better than doing it in a normal nether waste biome. So let's go over to the second wither farm and I'll show you guys what I did there. So here we are at the second wither farm. We're about a few thousand blocks out, so I had to go pretty far for this one. And this one is in a soul sand valley, so in theory it should be working. So yeah, you see I only had to spawn proof the nether fortress, and we got a similar design here, and there are some wither skeletons spawning here. This is the one I showed off last time, and it was working a bit. However, I wasn't really happy with the rates because there were some areas that weren't soul sand valley biome nearby, and a bunch of mobs were spawning there, and it was going to also take a really long time to spawn proof everything. And that's where the third wither farm I built comes into play. So if we want to get to the third wither farm 3.0, we take a boat and we go down this way. And because this one's really far out, I made an ice path to it. So we take this path and it goes out for a few thousand blocks. And here we are at the Wither Farm 3.0 entrance. You just take the ice path and go all the way down here. So this one looks a bit more completed, if you could tell. So yeah, this one actually produces a ton of wither skeletons. As you can see, it's really efficient, and I love this farm so much. This was definitely where this farm was worth building 3 wither farms for. It is insane how much I get. So let's go down here first and just look at the collection area. So there's 2 levels, the farming area, and we come down here, and this is where I get all of the loot. So yeah, and then we got the block forms where I craft all of it up into more compact blocks. We had a lot more wither skeletons here, wither skulls. I just had to take them out because I wanted to make a bunch of beacons. And so how it works, let's go into spectator mode and go all the way up here. So this is actually a quad wither farm. The first 2 designs we were looking at was a fourth of this, so it was about a square. Basically what I had to look for was a biome that was in a soul sand valley, but also had 2 fortress crossroads, because that's where the wither skeletons spawn best. So it's basically where 2 of these like hallway road things cross over. I was looking for 2 of those. So there was 2 right here, and I double layered it. So it was basically 2 for each crossway. Then I have some wolves here that scare the wither skeletons so that they can get close enough to see the piglins here. And then the wither roses basically kill all of the other mobs, or actually prevent all of the other mobs that aren't wither skeletons from spawning. They get put down here, and this is the killing area. And once they're killed, there's a really quick item collection system that collects all the items. I was having a problem where the items, you couldn't just use a normal hopper minecart, just a singular one, or just regular hoppers, because it was going to overfill really quick. So I had to do this system where it's just constantly collecting them. And it just goes around and around this area until it eventually finds a spot to be filtered into. Took a while to design this, but it was a lot better than I feel like using a... I think there's options where you could use sticky pistons and slime blocks to like move the items down an ice path into hoppers, but I really didn't want too many loud moving parts, and I was happier with this design. Then also we have a filter for swords. And yeah, everything gets sorted neatly into here. Alright, we're back at the Nether Hub area. There are a few areas, like the Mushroom Island. I've already shown that off in previous world tours, and there's really nothing special in some of these areas. It's just a biome I needed a portal to. So I'm going to be kind of skim over some of the less important stuff and really just show off the farms. I think we'll start with the skeleton spawner and all of this stuff. Let's go down here. I think the skeleton spawner is up first. Yep, and here we are. I've shown this off in previous world tours. I think the last one I had this done. I don't really come here anymore just because I have the wither farm, which has a ton of bones. But if I ever need arrows, I guess this is good. I really like the rib cage design I gave it, and also Oh yeah, this was bed. I haven't been here since the new update. I could get rid of this now because this used to be bedrock, but they changed it so that the world goes deeper now. And then we got, you know, just an enchantment area and stuff like that. But yeah, all right. And then let's go further down this area. I believe this way. This is the pork farm. So we'll show that off really quick. This was a really important farm I used to have before I started eating golden carrots because it was just a great way to get pork in my world, which is one of the best food sources. Yep, and there we go. There's a bunch of them spawning. So they just get scared by the crimson fungi over there, or the warped, I think it's the warped fungi. They're confusing names to remember, but they just go into the lava and they drop pork, which ends up getting auto-cooked by the lava. So it's just a really convenient and easy cooked pork chop farm, and then you also get leather. So this farm, it was such a great farm to have. It was really low in resources and easy to make, and it was really helpful, but now that I got golden carrots, I don't use it too much. We can go down this way, and here we have what is my blaze spawner, similar concept where you just break the bedrock and drop down through. So this is there's a double blaze spawner. I'll show that off really quick. So there's one right here, and there's one right here. So there's two blaze spawners that are constantly being loaded when you're in here, and how it works is that the lava pushes them, and it's very, very slow. I could show it off, but it's going to probably take at least a few minutes to just get it started. But there is there's one guy making his way up, but to get the farm started, it takes a while, but once they start coming, it works pretty efficiently. But it just works as like a lava elevator, because they get pushed up by the stairs, like this. And then they get funneled all the way over here, down. And yeah, I just wanted to make an efficient blaze farm, and yeah, I don't have too many uses for blaze rods, except I think end rods use them, and then brewing, so I don't need this to be super efficient. Okay, so that was where the blaze farm was, so let's go down here to the snow base, and also the frog lantern farm. I forgot about that. We'll show off this one first. Basically what we have is a frog lantern farm. So there's just a bunch of frogs down there, and this is a basalt delta, so the magma cubes spawn, get suffocated by the powdered snow until they're in a really small form, the small little guys, and they get eaten up by the frogs and turned into the frog lanterns. So it's a really efficient farm, and it's a lot better than using prismarine lanterns, because those are a bit expensive, but you get so many blocks from this farm. I think I only AFK'd this for maybe like 8 hours total, and I took a lot of blocks from here already. This was practically full. And I just went for a kind of a mud brick design here because I wanted to use the new mud bricks, and it made sense because it's the same update. The frogs were added, and I think it looks pretty decent. Yeah, especially for a nether build, doesn't look too bad. Over here we have the snow farm area, powdered snow farm, and it's actually snowing right now, so we can see this in action. So we got some normal ice right here, a normal ice farm, which is actually pretty useful. However, there's a powdered snow farm here, and I built this before the 1.18 update, so there was a bit of an in-between period where the only way you could get powdered snow was by doing this, and you couldn't just go to Snowy Peaks biome and collect it, which is a very, very much more efficient way of getting it. I don't think I've even collected any because it just takes so long doing this. But yeah, that's pretty much all that's here. It's just a kind of little snow base that has ice and powdered snow. So if we go down here, the only thing down this path is, of course, my pigment farm, gold farm. This is the best XP farm I have in my world. It's just so useful because not only do pigment drop a lot of XP for you, the gold and drops they have are just really great because the gold is useful for a bunch of stuff since they've added a bunch of uses for gold, like bartering, which we have a bartering system over here. You just throw in some gold. I have 2 gold right here. Let's throw that in. It gets put in the system. And then, yeah, they'll pick some of it up. And then they just throw the drops. And they get picked up and sorted into here. Once they're in the system, they get put in the sorting area. And they get sorted out into all of these categories. And yeah, so I get a bunch of really great loot like quartz from this. Leather, string, obsidian, crying obsidian, yeah, all this stuff is just really great to have, And I just come here, get XP, and I'm also, you know, getting gold, which I can use for bartering. And just having gold in general is great. And then also, if I get rotten flesh, I can come over here and trade it for emeralds. So this is the best way for me to get emeralds in my world, just because rotten flesh has no real other purpose besides being traded with, and I think you can breed dogs with it and stuff like that. But yeah, I really like the aesthetic also I built here, the orange and dark gray. I think it looks really cool, just because I went with that design because I already had to use magma for the spawning here, because all of the pigmen, they spawn on this, and that way, this is magma, that way no other mobs can spawn, and then they get attracted to the turtle egg right here, and then they get funneled down. There's a ton of them. I guess the only thing down here, there's a mesa biome, but it's just, there's not much there. I've already shown that off before. But here we have my OG gold farm. You've seen the really OP, amazing, multi-purpose one I have. This one is, yeah, it's something, you know. It's a little bit smaller. This is my first one. Get some gold. I also have some sort of bartering system here. It's not as good. But yeah, you get some gold from it. But I kind of like the birch design I had going here, but there's a reason why I built a much more efficient one, just because it's one layer and it's not that great. And also another really annoying thing with this farm was that I had to have like a dispenser system that pushed all the items up, and it was really loud and annoying, and for some reason sometimes it would get stuck and clogged up like right here, so it wouldn't even work, and I just needed a new system that I needed to start from scratch basically and build a new one, which is why I built the much better, new and improved gold farm. I almost died there. So right over here, down this way, I have a squid farm. Let's go through that. Last time I showed this off, it was really incomplete. There was still stone walls and stuff. I went with a bit of an interesting design choice. I don't know if I really like it. It kind of hurts my eyes, but I didn't really know what to do with this. I just wanted to get rid of the stone walls and just kind of fill it in with something. But you basically just have these water pillar things, and it's in a river biome. You clear out all of the nearby rivers, so that way the only place they can spawn is here. And they drop down, and a minecart collects all of the drops. Real simple. Just a great way to get black dye. But if we continue going down this way, after the squid farm, down further here, and here we have the prismarine farm. Basically what I did was I just cleared out Guardian Temple, and it was in a glacier biome, so I kind of made it like a snow-based thing, and I think it looks pretty cool. So we come in here, we have the collection area, and we got a bunch of fish, a bunch of prismarine, and stuff like that, and this is where I just store all of the blocks. Really simple, you just clear out the entire area, so the only area they can spawn is here. Ton of particles, but yeah, they just spawn here, they get sucked down to the magma, die, and then the minecarts collect it all. And if you just want to AFK this, you just go up in there, and yeah, it's really nice. The prismarine blocks I feel like you don't use too often, but I really like the dark prismarine block, which is why I built pretty much the squid farm, because you need black dye for that. So I believe that's it for just the random portals I have out in other areas of my world and all the nether hub stuff. One last thing I want to show off is if we go down here, and this is to my end portal, but if you remember from my video also, the end portal is actually located at the Oasis City area. So this is kind of bad conditions. Let me sleep really quick. So yeah, there we go. It's daytime now and the weather's cleared. So yeah, this is the Oasis City project I've been working on. It's been, I think, a year and a half about. Haven't worked on it all that time, but on and off again, I can't come back to it. And it's been a real pain just clearing everything out and placing all the grass and blocks I need. But it's coming along. Hopefully next world tour next year, this will be all set and ready to be started. I had a whole video explaining what this project is, but basically it's just going to be a city where every skyscraper is a certain farm, and then the center skyscraper is going to be the main hub and collection area, and it's going to be where my main base is. But this is basically what I'm doing once I'm finished with my spawn area, because I'm finding that I'm pretty much running out of things to build at spawn, and I really want to make farms here that are a lot better than the micro farms I have at my spawn base. Definitely a few years to complete. Probably going to take like 3 to 5 years to have this 100% done, but yeah. And so this is basically how I get to the end. We'll have an end skyscraper here, so you'll go basically to one of the skyscrapers here and it'll have an end portal in it. So I made sure that my end portal here was part of my base. I included it. And yeah, here we are on the end. It's a lot different from last time. Last time it was really rough looking. Definitely needed to finish it up. So we'll start by going down here. If we want to get to the outside, to the end, we'll go through there. But let's just go down here first and go up this water elevator. And right here we have the wither killing chamber. So I won't do it right now, but you basically just put the soul sand down, the wither skulls, and then the wither itself just gets stuck in the obsidian. The iron golems do most of the work. They hurt it, and then you just kind of swing it a few times. And yeah, it's really efficient to killing them. If you have to get a stack of beacons, you know, like I did, it's really helpful. And there's just some iron for iron golems and just all the wither skeleton stuff. So if we go back down, so now we can go over to the Enderman farm over here. We got powdered snow breaking our fall again. And we just go down here. We got soul sand, and here we go. So this is a lot different from last time. This is one of the big redesigns I did. We got the Enderman spawning here. You just kill them, you know, and the drops spawn. And if you want to just get rid of the drops, dispense them, you turn this lever on, and you can hear the clicking. And you turn it off when you're done. And you store any ender pearls you want in here. And also in here is like where the bulk storage for the ender pearls are. So yeah, we got an enchantment table here, you know, all the enchantment setup. We got some books here and stuff like that. I don't really use this farm. I will once I'm working on the Oasis City, because this will be the closer XP farm. But, you know, you need an Enderman farm in your world. It's such an iconic farm, and you really want it to look nice. And the one I had last year, it was in rough shape. It was very, very, like, early game. Kind of rushed and put together with some weird stone blocks, but I really like this design. It's got, like, you know, white and then the purple and black, and I think it's a really cool aesthetic. So yeah, let's go back up and we can actually explore the end island. Let's go up this way, and this is my actual end island. Last time I showed you, you know, all the beacon. I had all of the beacons done, all the portals. I also added a mushroom farm. And then there's a mushroom farm. I took the mushrooms in my overworld and I just put them in here because, you know, it kind of matches the aesthetic. Yeah, just basically a mushroom farm. You chop them down like this. And you can use a fortune axe if you want to get the actual mushrooms. Yeah, you just put the mushroom down there. Kind of works like just like that. And it grows them. So yeah, it's a little neat farm if I ever need mushrooms or anything. Don't need it too much. I think there's a few more things I can put in this end island, but I really like how this has turned out. It's a pretty simple thing for me to renovate my end island just by putting the mycelium down and kind of turning it into a mushroom island. But I think that's pretty much everything in my world. It's fitting to end with the end island, so I think we're all set. So let's go back to the spawn base. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the world tour for this year, 5,000 days. I'm really happy with how my world turned out this year. I really think I just refined and improved a lot of things that needed to be done. Even though I didn't build a whole lot of new things, I'm really happy with how it turned out. But yeah, so I know my uploads are really inconsistent on this channel. Hopefully, I always say this every world tour, that I hope I'll get back into uploading more frequently. I do have some videos planned, such as I could do a tutorial for that ender pearl teleportation bed thing. I also have a testing world where basically everything in this world I build in that world and I test it before I actually build it in survival, just to save time and plan out what I'm doing. I could show off that world, just do a world tour of my testing world. That's something I could do if you guys are interested. But yeah, even when I'm not uploading videos, I'm still playing this world because I really love this game and I really like this world. I really just like enjoy having a world where I'm constantly adding stuff to it, and at this point, playing 3.5 years on this world, there's starting to be history with it and stuff like that, and it's really cool just to see how the world evolves over time, and just kind of playing with when the new updates come out, just kind of improving my world with it. But yeah, one more thing to note was that I didn't do a world download last year, and that was mostly because I didn't want people seeing the Oasis City area before I revealed it, and it wasn't really ready to be revealed yet, so I didn't want to have a world download spoiling that and people seeing it beforehand. But now that I've shown that off, and I really like how my world's come out with refining everything, and just kind of completing a lot of projects. I think I'm definitely going to do a world download this year, so there will be a world download link in the description. It's probably going to have some issues like the first week or two, or depending how many people are trying to access the link. Just be patient. If it's not working, just come back another few days and then it should be fixed. But yeah, hopefully it works after a while. So thank you all so much for the support. These videos always get a lot of attention, and you guys really seem to like me showing off all of the stuff in my world. I really love playing this world and showing off what I've built over the year. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.